This is video 5 of the CISC LAN switching and wireless case study, and a little review here. In the first video we created a list of things we wanted to do and a plan of how we were going to attack this topology. And so we created this list in the first video. In the second video we actually created layer 1. We put in all the devices and all the cables. In the third video we did the layer 2, which was creating the VLANs, assigning the VLANs to ports, and putting in the trunks. In the last video we had layer 3, and that was creating the IP scheme, putting in IP addresses on all the devices and labeling them and double and triple checking them. And when we last left off, we were able to ping from one side of our local network to the other side. So we were able to go from this workstation to that router, from this router to that router to that router, and from one side of the VLAN to the other. But we were not able to ping between VLANs or between networks. And in order to do that, we need a router, and more specifically we need routing. So that's what this video will be about, is routing. Now, in the case study they talked about routing with OSPF, so we are bound to do that. You may remember with dynamic routing, each network that's to be routed has to have a network statement. So on this router we're going to need to put a network statement for this network and a network statement for this network. Those are the only two network statements this router is going to have, because we only put in network statements for those that are directly connected to my router. So this router will have two network statements, this and here. And this router will actually have 4 network statements, because as you can see there are 4 separate networks. The 3 VLANs with subinterfaces, and then we have this WAN over here. So let's begin by configuring routing on the top router here. So our command is router OSPF1, and our network statement is going to look something like this: 172.16.0.0. And then in OSPF we need to put the inverted mask, and I don't know if you remember from I think the third video, but we had already came up with the inverted mask and then the area statement. 172.16.4.0 0003 area 0. Aha. Well, maybe I have to type a little better. Alright, and that should do it for that router. Now remember, it doesn't have to be router 1. I could put in OSPF 2 or 50, but just to make it easy on myself, I'll make all the instances of OSPF the same. Oops, 16.4.0. Now this command should be exactly the same as the command on this router. So this command here should be the exact same network command that I put in here for on that router for this network, since it is the same network. And the other side is 4.4, right? We got 4.0 here, 4.4 there. And that should take care of for that router. Now this router is going to have 4.4, and then 10, 20, and 30. So we will create OSPF instance 1, network 172.16.4.4, 0003, area 0. Alright, and these will be, just when I need logging synchronously, huh? Alright, there's one for 10. We need a network statement for VLAN 20 and one for VLAN 30. Alright, now before I go any further, I want to check to make sure that I actually have some routing here. So I'm going to do a show IP route, and it looks like I've got 4.0, 4.4, but it looks like I'm missing this network up here. Doesn't look like that's getting there. So let me go to this router and do a show IP route. And he's also missing that. Alright. Now a good command here would be show IP OSPF neighbors. And you notice that my only neighbor is this router here. So what this tells me is that I have a problem between this router and this router. So I need to go in and check my network statements here. So the command show IP protocol gives me a list of all the network statements that I have. And I have 2, and those look right. And I'll go on the other router and do the same. Show IP protocol, and it looks like I left out a 4 here. I put a 0, so there's my mistake. So if I did a show IP route, I should only find those networks that are directly connected to me, and that's what I find. If I do a show run, you can see where I made the mistake right here. Right? So what I'll do is I'll take that statement out. I'll say no, that statement, and I will paste in that statement again, but this time I'll put network 4 there. Now I should see an OSPF adjacency pop up here any second now. There we go. And if I do a show IP route, I should start to see some routes. There I go. There's 10, there's 20, and there's 30. Alright, so now let me try to test this by pinging between VLANs here. That looks good. Let me try to ping outside from there to there, and that looks good. So as you can see, looks like we've got routing down here. Let me try to make sure the default gateways on those switches are working too. Okay, that one failed. So we'll double click on that, see what the deal is. There we go. Just had to give it a little more time. So this concludes this video of routing, and our next video will be on hardening and housekeeping.